Hey everyone, I'm Radwan and welcome to this video where we'll unlock the secrets to learning faster and more effectively. The good news is that fast and effective learning isn't some superpower some people are born with. By understanding how our brains learn best, we can optimize our study habits and make the most of our time. So, if you're ready to supercharge your learning journey, let's dive in. Before we jump into specific techniques, let's take a moment to understand how our brains learn and remember information. Think of your brain like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. One of the fundamental concepts in learning is the forgetting curve, first described by Hermann Ebbinghaus. His research showed that we tend to forget a significant portion of new information shortly after learning it. The key is to reinforce the information before it fades away. By reviewing material at increasing intervals, we can interrupt the forgetting process and move information from our short-term memory to our long-term memory. Our goal is to transfer information from our working memory to our long-term memory, making it stickier and easier to recall later. Now let's dive into some powerful techniques. The first one is called active recall, and it's all about actively retrieving information from your memory instead of passively rereading it. When you have to recall something without looking at the answer, your brain has to work harder, and that effort strengthens the neural connections. For example, if you're studying the American Revolution, you could ask yourself, what were the main causes of the revolution, or who were some of the key figures involved? The process of trying to remember is just as important as getting it right. If you struggle to recall something, that's a clear signal to revisit that information and reinforce your understanding. So next time you're studying, ditch the passive rereading and embrace the power of active recall. We've already touched upon the concept of spaced repetition, but let's delve a little deeper into how it works and why it's so effective. The basic idea is to review information at increasing intervals. This method leverages the psychological spacing effect, which helps combat the forgetting curve. Let's say you learn a new concept today, review it again tomorrow to reinforce the initial learning, then 3 days later to start building a stronger memory, then a week later to further solidify it, then 2 weeks later, and so on. By spacing out your reviews, you're giving your brain a chance to forget the information slightly, which might sound counterintuitive, but each time you recall it, you're strengthening the neural pathways associated with that information, making it easier to remember in the future. There are fantastic tools available that can help you implement spaced repetition systematically, ensuring you stick to the schedule. One popular option is Anki, a free flashcard program that uses spaced repetition algorithms to schedule your reviews. It's highly customizable and widely used by students and professionals alike. Another great option is Quizlet, which offers a variety of study modes and also incorporates spaced repetition. It's user-friendly and has a large community of users sharing their flashcard sets. It's a highly effective way to move information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory, which is crucial for mastering any subject. By using spaced repetition, you're making it much more likely that you'll remember the information in the long run, leading to better academic and professional outcomes. You know how it is, students often dread tests, seeing them as necessary evils. But what if I told you that testing can actually be a powerful tool for learning? It's true. The act of retrieving information from memory during a test strengthens our recall more effectively than simply restudying the material. This phenomenon is known as the testing effect, and numerous studies have shown that it can significantly improve retention. The key is to incorporate regular testing into your study routine. This doesn't necessarily mean formal exams. You can easily test yourself using flashcards, practice questions, or even just by summarizing concepts from memory. Think of testing as a way to identify your strengths and weaknesses. Have you ever heard the saying, the best way to learn something is to teach it? This idea is more than just a catchy phrase. It's a powerful learning strategy. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Teaching forces us to engage with the material in a deeper way. When we try to explain a concept to someone else, we're forced to organize our thoughts, identify gaps in our understanding, and simplify complex ideas. This process not only helps the learner, but also the teacher. This brings us to the Feynman technique, named after the renowned physicist Richard Feynman, who was known for his ability to explain complex concepts in a clear and engaging way. Feynman believed that if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. Here's how it works. Choose a concept you want to learn or reinforce. It could be anything from a scientific theory to a historical event. Then imagine you're explaining it to a 6-year-old. This means breaking it down into its simplest terms and avoiding jargon or technical language. This forces you to break down the concept into its simplest terms and avoid using jargon or technical language. The goal is to make the concept so simple that even a child can understand it. As you're explaining, pay attention to any areas where you struggle or where your explanation feels unclear. These are indicators of gaps in your understanding. The Feynman technique helps you identify your weak spots and encourages you to revisit and reinforce your understanding. By continuously refining your explanation, you deepen your grasp of the subject. Our brains are wired to process information from multiple senses, making learning a dynamic and interactive process. When we engage multiple senses while learning, we create a richer and more memorable experience. This approach not only makes learning more enjoyable, but also significantly enhances our ability to retain information. This is the essence of multisensory learning, and it can be a game changer for improving retention. By involving sight, sound, touch, and even movement, we can make the learning process more effective and engaging. Here are a few ways to incorporate multisensory learning into your study routine, making your study sessions more productive and enjoyable. Read aloud. Don't just read silently in your head. Engage your sense of hearing by reading aloud, even if it's just whispering to yourself. This can help reinforce the material and improve your understanding. Use gestures. Associate gestures or movements with concepts. This physical involvement can help solidify the information in your memory. For example, if you're learning about gravity, you could mimic an object falling to the ground. This simple act can make abstract concepts more concrete. Create drawings or diagrams. Visual aids can be incredibly helpful for understanding and remembering information. They provide a visual representation that can make complex ideas easier to grasp. Draw diagrams, mind maps, or even just doodles in the margins of your notes. These visual elements can serve as memory triggers. By engaging multiple senses, you're creating a more immersive and memorable learning experience. This holistic approach can transform the way you study and help you achieve better results. Let's face it, staying focused for long periods can be a real challenge. Our brains are wired to crave novelty and distraction, and in today's hyper-connected world, it's easier than ever to get sidetracked. That's where the Pomodoro technique comes in. It's a time management method that can help you overcome procrastination, improve focus, and boost productivity. The basic idea is to break down your work into short, focused bursts of 25 minutes, separated by short breaks of 5 minutes. Here's how it works. First, choose a task. Start by selecting a task you want to focus on, then set a timer for 25 minutes. This is your Pomodoro interval. After 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. Sometimes the best way to understand and remember information is to see it visually. That's where mind maps come in. A mind map is a visual representation of information that uses a hierarchical structure with a central concept at the center and related ideas branching out from it. Mind maps are incredibly versatile tools that can be used for a wide range of purposes, including brainstorming, generate new ideas, and explore different perspectives on a topic. Note-taking. Organize information from lectures, books, or articles in a visual and memorable way. The key to creating effective mind maps is to keep them clear, concise, and visually appealing. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to remember a phone number when it's grouped into smaller chunks? That's because our short-term memory has a limited capacity, and chunking helps us overcome this limitation by breaking down large amounts of information into smaller, more manageable units. Chunking is a powerful technique that can be applied to a wide range of information, from phone numbers and credit card numbers to historical dates and scientific formulas. The basic idea is to group related pieces of information together, making them easier to remember as a single unit. By chunking information, you're essentially creating mental shortcuts that make it easier for your brain to encode and recall information. So next time you're faced with a large amount of information, don't try to memorize it all at once. Break it down into smaller chunks and watch your retention soar. Our brains are wired to remember images more easily than abstract concepts. Mental imagery leverages this natural ability by associating information with vivid mental pictures, making it more memorable and easier to recall. The key to effective mental imagery is to create images that are vivid, engage as many senses as possible: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Unusual. The more bizarre or outlandish the image, the more memorable it will be. Personal, connect the image to something personally meaningful to you. By creating vivid mental images, you're essentially creating memory palaces in your mind where information is stored in a way that's easily accessible and memorable. So next time you're studying, think about how you can incorporate mental imagery to boost your retention. Congratulations, you've just unlocked a treasure chest of powerful learning techniques that can transform the way you approach new information. Remember, learning faster isn't just about speed, it's about learning smarter by using the right strategies. Now, I challenge you to put these techniques into action. Choose at least 3 of these methods and apply them to your studies or learning goals this week. Your learning journey starts now.